In last video, we learned about the structure of Google Analytics account. Analytics account is container for properties, and properties contain information flowing from different websites or apps. To identify or differentiate user journeys or measure user engagement or interaction of users, Analytics uses different identifiers called identity spaces. In this video, we are going to look at Google Analytics 4 identifiers. That is user IDs, Google signals, device IDs, and modeling. User ID identity space in analytics lets us associate identifiers with users who have logged into our website or app. Each user that logs into the system might have unique username or email address assigned. We can associate that email address with the user IDs in Google Analytics. In Universal Analytics, you can easily enable the user ID feature by going to Admin, then click Tracking Info, and click User ID. You might want to review User ID policy before moving forward. Click Next. On this page, we have two lines of code that we can insert in our global site tag. If your property is using Universal Analytics, you will need to insert following lines of code into the analytics tracking code that you have implemented on your site. Final step in Universal Analytics is to create User ID view. User ID view provides filtered data from sessions in which user ID is detected. You can learn more about views in Universal Analytics on web. In order to let Google Analytics collect user IDs data from a website or app, you will need to add this code snippet in the site pages where you inserted Google Analytics tag. You will need to replace tag_ID with measurement ID from Google Analytics 4. You can find measurement ID in a specific data stream in Google Analytics 4. And you will need to replace you will need to place tracking ID from Universal Analytics in place of tag_ID. You will also need to replace user ID with the user IDs that you have assigned to site users with their username or email address. To set up Google Analytics 4 user IDs, click Admin. Go to the Properties column, click Reporting Identity. Since we are using demo account, device ID identity space is turned on to evaluate users based on device ID. On a website, device ID comes from client browser. On app, device ID is app instance ID. Since we are using Google Analytics 4 demo account, so we cannot turn on options observed and blended in Google Analytics demo account. If you are not using demo account, in observed you can turn on user IDs along with Google signals and user IDs along with device ID, or you can turn on all three of them. In blended reporting identity, we have an extra option of modeling. We will discuss it later in this video. You can use user IDs to build a comparison between the users who have signed into your website or apps and users who haven't signed in. User IDs can be used for user exploration in existing or temporary segments to understand the behavior of users when they were acquired to their activities on your site or app. One of the biggest advantages of user IDs is that it easily allows us to create remarketing audiences. Remarketing is a very powerful concept if you're running ads on Google Ads and you have linked it to analytics. We will discuss it later or in some other video or article. Google Signals refers to data from the user who are signed into Google. Google Analytics associates events data on your site or app with the users signed into Google. Google Signal enables cross-device reporting by measuring cross-device activities on different devices. Cross-device activity is measured when a user or someone logs in with Google account on iOS devices, Android devices, Chrome web browser, other web browsers, client or other apps that require Google account. Google Signal also allows us to create remarketing audiences from Google Analytics data. It can also collect information from advertising and reporting features available in Google Analytics for advertising platforms like Google Ads. And Google Signal's identity space can collect information based on demographics and interests. Demographics and interest information is mostly collected from the users who have turned on ads personalization in their Google account. To enable Google Signals in Google Analytics for property, click Admin in the Properties column, click Data Setting, click Data Collection, and click Enable Google Signal Data Collection. You may read the text to better understand the Google's data collection policy before proceeding. There may be some users on your site who have logged in and cannot accept cookie. Who haven't logged in, sorry. Those users who have no account on your site and cannot log in and cannot accept cookies and other identifiers sent by Google Analytics for data collection. For this type of users, you can enable modeling. Modeling feature in Google Analytics 4 models the behavior of the users who have declined analytics identifiers with those who have accepted. This figure demonstrates how Google Analytics goes on to collect data from your apps or properties. If you have created your own identifiers for unique users using their email addresses or usernames, Google Analytics will use user identity space first. If it cannot use user identity space, it will use Google Signals. If users are not logged into their account, Google Analytics will use device IDs. Since device IDs cannot provide enough information to deduplicate or measure user journeys, Google Analytics may use modeling if you have enabled it. To sum up this topic, here is why it benefits to use multiple identity spaces in analytics or analytics properties. You can learn about the unique number of users. You can find out which platform provides more number of conversions. You can measure different interaction and user journeys of users from apps to website and from websites to apps.